Hello and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Dale as we continue our journey along the Sir Peter Jackson filmography series. Today we're discussing King Kong. Released in 2005, the film tells of a greedy film producer who assembled a team of movie makers to set out to the infamous Skull Island, where they find more than cannibalistic natives. The movie was made on a budget of $207 million and brought in $556.9 million at the box office. This was the one we weren't too sure when we got to it how we were going to feel, isn't that right?
Yes, exactly. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Dale. Good to have you back as always. And
Good to be here.
whatever
Yeah,
what, this is an extremely fun series to talk about again.
it is, isn't it?
But yeah, this is the one where I don't think this isn't one was sticking all the time. The length of it for a start, you have to like commit
Oh yeah, yep.
to watch this one. It's had mixed reviews.
Yes, it did. Yeah, but it
I
grossed a lot of money, didn't it? One of the biggest ones out of all the other movies so far that has come out. So I
well,
thought it was quite intriguing that it actually, one movie cost about the same to make the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
And
not
when I
far
found
off it
that
because
out,
they were averaging a budget of 90 million a movie.
yes,
So yeah, this was basically the same budget of two and a bit of the movies.
no, and it's a 3 hour long feature film. That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. I think he's telling two movies here. Because when we
Yep.
got the subsequent Kong movie, we got Kong Skull Island. And I think effectively we've got Skull Island and the original King Kong.
Right.
Two movies, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yep. Because I have to be honest, I haven't watched the previous two. So I haven't watched the 33 or the 73 one.
No?
No, I haven't. Because actually, believe it or not, I don't like King Kong at all. I did not like King Kong as a universal monster at all. I just thought it was just, and until this King Kong came along. Yeah. Before then, though,
Ludicrous,
I'd
alright.
seen trailers and things like that, but I didn't really get into it. But this one was the one that blew it out of the water.
Oh, well, it's and I just binged his entire video diary series on the special features before we started this.
Oh,
So I'm Peter Jackson in the brain right now. I feel like I've been through the journey of making this movie with him.
that's so awesome! I'm gonna have to watch it.
Uh,
Gosh,
that's a thing as well. I've also been thinking about this. Peter Jackson, I think, is the last bastion of filmmakers, nerd filmmakers who love filmmaking. And the special features, like that was as much effort was put into the DVD release
wow,
of movies. This is why you bought the special edition. This is why you bought the DVDs for the special feature to get a peek behind the curtain, which they do
yep.
not do whatsoever, not even remotely anymore.
No, oh God, no.
Which
They
is a
do their job.
shame.
Oh, next project.
Yeah, and even the movies now. We were talking about it during the Aliens review there that the whole landscape, even in 2005, was different than now.
Oh,
Like now it's a complete
totally.
mess the way they do movies. But
Yep.
originally there was the initial cinema release, but then you had 12 months down the line the VHS, the home rental release, which then
Yep.
became the DVD home rental release.
Yeah.
So there was still that idea that you had to make a movie long term, that people wanted to stick on or watch a second time.
Absolutely.
Do you agree that?
Absolutely. That was the whole thing behind it, wasn't it? You go in, you buy the DVD, you've got all the beautiful, you've got even a poster in there sometimes,
Gosh, I got a booklet
Yeah.
in this one. There's a mini booklet that came in this edition.
Wow. I mean, like even the Lord of the Rings trilogies, we got the extended versions of the box set, and it's got a different CD that on the other side that gives you the making of, and then you get a little map in there and all that that's all gone now. It's completely gone. It's
Yeah,
sad.
I have a funny feeling it's going to come back because people are getting burnt out. I think the more concerning now you've got your generic audience that'll just sit and nod at the screen anyway. You're not going to get anything from them anyways, but I think
Yeah.
I think we might see us starting to come back because there's, especially with streaming services just being up the left, and one minute you have a movie, then you don't, and I'm fed up with it.
Do you think so? Because I at one stage I did think actually they might start to bring them back in again, but then I think they've actually lost control of the situation now. I don't know if they could reel it back. Yeah, I don't know if they could reel it back and go back to DVD stores and things like that. I really wish they would do that.
I don't think maybe to that extent. I don't think you'll
Not
get. I don't think you'll get pure. I think you'll get a DVD section again, and definitely
right.
an order. A home delivery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Market. You'll get that. There's plenty. There's second sight films. There's Arrow films.
Yeah.
There's loads of ones that create collector's editions.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So there's still a market for that, and they're doing quite well. Obviously,
Yeah.
you'll always have the likes of Amazon and stuff, or if Amazon fall, because Amazon's in a bit of trouble at the moment because they were silly.
Really? I think I heard something about that.
I shared the video with you last night.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
they're in a bit of a boo boo at the moment. They're in trouble. They might have overreached. Silly people.
Well, yeah.
And now we're seeing all this culmination of silly decisions coming back to bite them in the backside, because you can only you can only borrow for so much, before you get yourself into trouble. And it doesn't matter what size, we have to manage our households.
Yeah.
We have to manage our household budgets, and we know if we spend more than what we earn, we get in trouble.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the companies didn't think they could do that. Now they're finding out that, yeah, that's the case. So they're going to have to rethink everything, and that's not just Amazon. You know what I mean?
All of them.
All of them are in trouble. They're doing all the spin. They're putting out the articles. They're trying to, and the more they're trying, the more they're making it obvious that they are in dire straits.
Yeah. It's definitely a mess. I mean, it's a whole complete mess with Netflix and everything. All those streaming sites. They just lost the plot.
Really. And the movie studios that are attached to them, and the whole mechanism, which is back to this. This is sort of the last of an era, I think, of movie making.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's quite sad, actually.
Yeah, and it never.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie to end with. To end the era of filmmaking as it was. Even this movie, you can see that there's been a lot of interference with, say, Universal Pictures or Miramax or whoever.
It was Universal production.
Yeah, it was Universal. I think Miramax
Universal. It's a Universal one. They own the rights, and
yeah, they own the rights.
Even as I'm going back through, because if you think of Lord of the Rings, it was more or less 99% self-contained.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you've got they're having to do stuff in the LA studio. They're having to and that's what I'm saying. I was watching all the. Sorry, that's why we came on early, by the way, folks, because we're starting into this because.
Don't want to miss out on the gold.
Yeah, we do. We come on to chat. Basically, we come on to chat, and it just happens to stream it as well. You know what I mean? That's the way this works.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience, if you think we're planning something for you guys, but it's not. It's for us. Just a nerd out.
Yeah, absolutely nerd out.
But yeah, we're starting to see the element of, even during the video diaries, he was sending out a video every week. That's audience engagement, even before social media.
How did I not know this? Where was I? Living under a rock?
It was that time. Don't forget as well, the internet was still, until about 2010.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When was it? Bebo, the likes of Bebo and
yes.
All those sort of, pre-Facebook,
MySpace.
When was that? 2008? They were still in their infancy.
Yeah.
So this is pre-social media era. This is internet era, and this is still figuring out. I shared the website with you. Look how clunky it is. You know what I mean? It's HTML-tastic.
Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely.
Back in the day when I tried to learn HTML, you know what I mean? I remember all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was doing they were doing a video every week, and this is a crew. This is not even Peter Jackson's hubris or ego. This is the people he has around him who are just as invested in the projects as he is. And it's where I was initially going to maybe slag this movie off a bit for certain things. After watching all that, it swayed my opinion.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, you can't not when you see people with genuine enthusiasm, not fake stuff for the camera, but when you see people with a genuine enthusiasm for their project and you see the work somebody's putting in, and you know they're doing stuff like artistically I couldn't even dream of doing. And I do a wee bit of miniature modeling and so on, but I do not even have remotely the skills of what these people knock out in 24 hours.
Oh, I know. They're
Like
incredible.
the level of detail and the venture, the ship. There was obviously the full ship itself. Then there was the 1/3 scale. Then there's the 1/10 scale models.
Wow.
And they're actually showing you, okay, so on the ship, there's this bit of water dripping from the life raft onto this bit. That's why those 3 rivets are rusty and the rest aren't.
Unbelievable.
And they're copying that from the ship to the 3rd scale model to the 1/10 scale model to make sure that those water drips were right in the same place. How can you slag anybody off?
No, not for that attention.
How can you go,
detail.
oh, you didn't make a good movie, or I didn't like these bits of that, but when you see the amount of work that goes into it, I just can't do it.
No. That's why they are who they are. We're the workshop and, the masters of their trade, basically. Yeah. They're awesome.
We don't see them out, and about as a special effects company, like in the general Hollywood zeitgeist.
No, you don't. You don't. Basically, they have to be invited to come along and do something. You know what I mean? They get headhunted. They don't promote themselves. There's nothing that's promoting them at all, other than their Weta workshops, their workshop itself. That's got all the stuff in it. Other than that, we don't hear boo from them.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Which is interesting, because they should be the world leaders.
Well, they are, really.
No, but I mean, anybody says, okay, because do you know why Lucasfilm was supposed to be the world leaders for special effects, supposed to be a special effects company? And it's an absolute joke. And it didn't matter whether it was their own properties or not. If it was a Lucasfilm, it was supposed to be a stamp of quality, but you're not seeing that. Imagine the superhero stuff if they'd actually use Weta workshops, for example. Imagine the difference. The problem is they couldn't just throw out movies every 6 months. You know what I mean? You're talking about a 1 or 2 year project for a movie.
Yeah.
But there would be an event.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a lot of work in the background of other movies. So, yeah, don't know about that one. Yeah, they're masters at what they do. So, yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, and
like I said, I don't hear boo from them. The last thing I heard was that Peter Jackson's doing something to do with reviving some of the Beatles' old music that they found. They found some of John Lennon's music, and I think Peter Jackson's actually involved in that. So
yeah, because there's a whole sound studio department, and actually, watching that. In fact, if you're an indie filmmaker, you should watch the whole thing about the ADR section. With the cast and the Foley artists and everything. You should really watch those videos.
Absolutely.
Because although they're upscaled, the principles are of the level of detail they go in for, like a sound, for example, because that's one thing a lot of indie movies really puts me off, is the sound.
The sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it does. It takes it out, but the level of detail they go into to get the sound right and to get it mashed up, and then the ADR studios where the actors go in afterwards and recreate their lines in a sound booth.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
And you just seeing all this going together and the amount of work just gives you a whole new appreciation for this movie. But don't see this anymore. You don't get that excited.
No.
And
That's
once
the
again,
world of it. Movies are going down. There's
it's
really not really much out there, is there? It's just, especially for the horror genre, it's just like, oh my God, there's nothing to watch. It sucks.
no, I've been struggling lately. You may have noticed on the channel.
You
Like
what?
I've been struggling lately. You may or may not have noticed on the channel. But was it last year? I was doing a lot of indie movies
Define
and new
you.
releases, and they were hitting. You know, I mean,
You were doing quite a few.
there was quite a
Yeah.
few I liked. There's few I didn't like. You know, and I gave the reasons for it. But this year, I am struggling to find. You know,
Yeah.
anything that even remotely exciting me.
Yeah. Oh God.
So I'm sort of going back in time.
Did you end up going watching Godzilla? Was that any good?
No, I
or?
never got out because I keep getting pinged for streams. I ended up was it last weekend doing 2 streams, and it was on my buddy's channel. I was doing different things, so I was like, well, that's out the window.
Oh, I'm
wait
waiting for you to watch it so I can get your review and see whether or not I want to go watch it.
I never got out to do it, so
About it. No one's talking about it online, so I've got no idea.
I think anybody that's watched it has enjoyed it.
Yeah. You know, Universal monsters are so hit and miss, though, aren't they? I mean, you know, King Kong, for one, like I said, I did not like him. I do not like Godzilla, but I would watch it, you know, just to see whether or not, because apparently there's a 2023 version of King Kong. I haven't watched it. I don't know where I can find it, actually, but
there's Godzilla versus Kong.
I think it
was that last year?
Yeah, it must be that one.
Yeah, it's all right. It's on streaming.
Yeah, okay. I thought I might watch it because the King Kong looked a bit nastier in the 2023 one. So yeah, to the franchise, I suppose.
I have to admit, I did love the Toho Studios, the original, like the 1950s King Kong series. Used to watch that every Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah, they used to put them all on TV on Saturday night. That was Saturday night, just watching those.
Wow.
They were just fun, you know.
It must be a boy thing or something.
Yeah, but that's guess what? Boys and girls are allowed to like different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's different movies on, but that was definitely a boy thing. Just big monsters smashing each other, and you know.
So. Yeah. But this King Kong was for the family, it was for women, and it was for men, you know.
See, the original 1930s one and the was it 1970 something, the remake?
Yeah.
Was pretty much the same story.
Same story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
no, he hasn't changed the story, you know, from the original.
That's good. That's good to know. Yeah. But he added his own little bits and didn't he? I mean,
yeah, at least expanded out the, you know.
Tell me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I haven't watched the 1930s or 50s version, whatever it is. But does Kong change? Like in this version, there seems to be like we get a lot of empathy for him, and we actually end up loving King Kong and getting quite sad at the end. Does that happen in the other two?
It does, yes, because that's the whole point of the movie is greedy expeditioners, you know, taking something from the natural land, you know, into their world, which they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
You know, effectively kidnapping Kong, bringing him back to New York and making him a prize, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was against, you know, like zoos at the time, because zoos were not nice places.
No, they weren't, not back then.
Like even back in the 70s, as far as the 70s, like the zoos were not good places. It was only through conservation efforts that they've become less of a show attraction, more conservation effort.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, you know what I mean? It's not the animal's fault.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know whether or not Kong was as appealing as he is in this one, you know.
Yeah, it's the same story, like I said, and that was the whole message behind the story. Which, funnily enough, you're allowed to put message in the stories as long as you're not beating people over the head. You know, you're a
Yeah.
terrible person for stuff that you have no control over, general audience member with no power, but we'll make it as if it project onto you as if it's your fault. That
Yeah.
it's just telling the story of, you know, does really as it's like today people keep exotic animals that
Yes.
they've nothing even remotely, the setup for, or they don't do the research, and then the animal lives in misery, which
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah.
So
Some
it's
people.
essentially that story just hyped up the 11.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Okay, I get it. Right. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
story, once again, Peter Jackson says himself he did not want to mess about with the original. That was his first movie, one of the first movies he watched when he was 9 and cried at it.
Yes.
And
I
he tried to
know.
make a version of it himself at 12 years of age.
I know. Amazing, eh?
And
Wow.
funny enough, when I was watching the behind the scenes, they had Bob Burns, the original creator of the King Kong animatronic, the puppet that was used.
Right. Yep.
And he brought it with him to New Zealand,
Really?
to the studios as they were making. So the things this size, all the fur's gone, you know what I mean? Because it was made in the 30s, but it's the skeletons are still works.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Peter Jackson owns the pterodactyl from the movie.
Wow.
So there's this one thing, you could just pick up the excitement. Just, oh, Bob Burns here, and and he went around all the studios, and oh, by the way, production's going to be late by about 2 weeks because everyone's just nerding out over this thing.
That's
And then he
amazing.
recreated the scene with King Kong holding the pterodactyl, and they redid the pose. The first time the two models had met together, and since 1933, and you're like, yeah, that's a boy thing. I mean, that's a nerd boy thing.
That is, yeah. Oh, that's Kong and the T-Rex, was it?
No, the pterodactyl, the winged one.
Oh, right, the pterodactyls.
Yeah, it was a
Right,
pterodactyl, an original one. They made it a
that's
T
right.
Rex, the
Yep,
big scene in
yep,
this,
yep.
but
Wow, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Out.
hold on. Chris says, I think Peter Jackson's movies are not directed towards one gender or another, unlike someone like Michael Bay, for example, who targets men for his film. Yeah,
Yep,
I,
yep,
at the end of the
definitely.
day, we have different. I mean, that's what makes us tick, and that's what makes us unique. And unfortunately, today it's something of derision rather than celebration. Our differences, which is odd.
Odd, but
It's an odd
natural.
mindset. It really is. Like today, the portray film and movies as men. I mean, a female character in a movie is basically a dude.
I know.
Instead of,
Uh,
I don't think it's, I don't think it's very complimentary towards women because it's very degenerate. No, the only way you can have agency is to be a man. It's like, what? I mean, we're strange times, but it's what happens when you get not very talented people who are just activists and have nothing really to say for their life, so they project.
yeah,
And it's shown in filmmaking where this is just a completely different mindset.
yeah,
And you see it on the screen, you see it with because the only person really out of the caster who's been a bit of a tit of recent years has been Andy Serkis.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone else
That's
has
right.
just remained, as they are, and just enjoy the craft. The only one that's actually got involved with all this nonsense has been Andy Serkis, who's really let himself down because he was a pioneer, if you think about it, as a motion capture actor.
Absolutely, he was. I mean, God, Gollum,
Yeah,
far
but he
out.
did King Kong in this.
Yeah, he did Kong. That's right. I mean,
He
he's
plays two
amazing.
roles. He plays the cook, Lumpy the cook,
Yeah, Lumpy. Yeah,
and then he plays Kong himself. And
and you don't actually realize he's Andy Serkis until because one of his eyes is shut or whatever,
yeah,
and he looks way different. But yeah, he's a cool little actor. But yeah, he has gone into a little bit of trouble, but that doesn't really matter.
yeah. Well,
You know,
you're
they
destroying your
pounce
own
on.
legacy.
Well, yeah, they pounce on every actor if they make one wrong move. That's it, blah blah blah, and it's just like whatever. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just think maybe don't get involved if you know you're a public figure, and that's why there's things I don't say or try not to get into or jump on those bandwagons.
Yep.
And it annoys me when I've had certain people on the channel try to talk politics, for example. It's like, nah, we're not doing that. Because that's not the point. You leave that at the door. We're here to talk about movies and the merit of movies. And we're here to talk about independent creators. And when you've got people trying to talk about others, like, what are you doing? Like, what's that actually achieve? Unless you're 100% political and that's your whole platform, fair enough. But if you're trying to talk to a wide range of audience, like I said, it's for everybody, not just for this group.
Yeah.
We can all sit down and together enjoy a movie, and that's what brings us together.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I'd like to get back to that, at least I know not for everyone. There's some people just too far gone. That's their whole mindset.
Yeah. When people start pushing their own agendas, it's just like, you better watch what you say, matey. It could come back to bite you on the butt.
Yeah, but even you see, there's sometimes people you even agree with, and they're just that obnoxious. And you're like, what are you doing? Because you know exactly, like, yeah, I might agree, but I'm not agreeing with you because blah, blah, blah. The way you come across, you're so nasty. Like, how can I stand beside you on an issue because the way you are? Right. And that's worse. In fact, some people, if they really truly care for a cause, they should not speak about it because of the type of personality they are.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because some people just kill their own argument.
Yeah. Yes. Be humble in your convictions.
Unfortunately, it's like some people just are lacking. That's why they need to project all the time.
Yep.
There's just no confidence in themselves, and that's can't really. They have to fix that themselves. That's a personal.
And people just want to be distracted by other people's dramas because then they don't have to look inwards and look at themselves. And there's a lot of messed up people out there.
So. Oh yeah, it's the way of the world.
Yeah, it is.
But
that's why movies are so great. It takes us away. It's an escapism. It's all the lovely things, And
the funny thing is, this was topical. It was a topical movie because it was showing the Depression.
Exactly.
1930s New York Depression. And actually, one thing he did amazingly was set that scene at the beginning of the movie.
Amazing. Wow. I remember watching that for the first time and I was blown away by the setting. And it was all filmed in Lower Hutt. Most of it, which is bloody amazing. I don't know how he does it. I really don't.
Well, if you watch his video, he'll show you.
I'm going to. I can't wait.
Many hours of scene by scene. The visuals and then the sound effects and the music and the dialogue and the sound effects and the music and reel by reel. Like, I probably lost count of the number of times he's watched this movie before it came out, and it's entirely right up to the last week before release.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Jeepers. All right, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's just
it's commitment, dedication. Yeah. Making sure you don't waste that money you were given to make the movie. I mean, they approached him, Universal Pictures, so
yeah, and this seems to be a bit more indulgent.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. There's a lot of things to unpack in the scenery, It's just in the setting. Oh wow. It's very authentic.
Yeah, because one thing we've noticed is, Peter Jackson's very efficient with his storytelling.
Yeah, he is the master of storytelling.
But this is different. This is a different vibe. This is more drawn out.
Yep.
This is a different piece for him, I think.
This is a huge Hollywood piece, I think, for him, compared to like The Lord of the Rings, where he seemed to have more of his own ideas there. I get a feeling that Universal Pictures was really heavily involved in this, especially with the American actors, quite big American actors. Yeah, just I think it did really well, but it seems to be like it was a lot different than his other movies. It seemed more Hollywood, I don't know, directed, if you know what I mean.
No,
It
I know
felt
exactly. That's why it's good.
it's hard.
I'm picking up on this. It's a different vibe of a movie. It's not a
Yeah,
Peter Jackson movie, 100%.
yeah, yeah, but it wasn't a Frighteners flop, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of different angles and a lot of different things coming in on this. So I'm really looking forward to looking at those diaries, because the diary entries, that would be really amazing to see those, to see how he managed to do all that sort of. Oh, there's so much to unpack.
Oh,
I mean,
one thing you cannot take away, whether you enjoy this movie or you don't, is this is a spectacle.
yeah, it's epic.
Every scene is epic and poignant and not wasted, or there's no feeling of cheapness or things being rushed, just thrown onto the screen.
No, no, and you did talk about a little bit about maybe it was a little bit, in some places in the movie it could have been shortened. I could have seen maybe perhaps the journey in the ship to Skull Island may have been condensed a little bit, but then it's like, well, if you condensed that bit, then it wouldn't have made sense in Act 2 when they got to Skull Island, or Act 3 or whatever,
Yeah, because
So
no time was wasted on the ship. Like,
no,
the writing scenes, would you have believed the love story?
without what had happened
Yeah.
on the no, it's not authentic.
Would you have
No,
believed Denham's character? How
no.
sneaky and underhanded, and it doesn't matter whatever he touches,
Yep,
it turns, he destroys everything because that's just his character.
yep,
And success doesn't change him. He's just got that self-destructive impulse.
yep, yep. It could have been glossed over, and it wasn't. Where we got to know straight away how devious he was as a character. Um, the whole setup to running to the ship, all that, conning the guys, the funders and the producers for his new feature film, all that needed to be in there, to set up, well, what was going to happen later on with the big production and
Yeah, and that's
when he
where
comes back with his
I'll,
prize.
I'll need to watch the 1933, but I don't think you get that level of characterization. It couldn't, you know what I mean? It's,
No, that's
impossible to
something
do.
Peter Jackson does.
Yes.
That's his character. That's what he does. He uses the characters to the best of their abilities, and we get to see all the important bits about the characters. And his character building is so integral to him in his movies. All of his movies. So I'm glad to see that he kept that, because watching it now from a reviewer's point of view, was a lot different than just sitting there and watching it as a movie, without having to take anything in, just watching the visuals and that. And it was just amazing just to think that there's so many elements that he's brought into this movie that he's done in all the other movies. So he's like kept true to himself, except there were no decapitation. Yes, there was.
There was,
It
but
was.
he did it off screen.
Skull Island.
Yep. There was a decapitation.
And yes, of course, and the worms. There was another different type of decapitation. And there were trams. No Morris Minors, but there were trams. But,
There might have been one. There
might have been
parked in a
sitting there
corner somewhere,
beside.
blink and you miss it.
Yeah, exactly. And he did make a cameo appearance too, which I didn't realize until I read up on it a little bit. He was the one in the plane that killed oh God. We're going to be spoiling the movie, aren't we?
Well,
Never
it's not
mind.
really a movie to spoil, because at the end of the day, it's a retelling of a story that's been already retold twice. You know what I mean? This is a second remake of a movie.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, there will be spoilers, but the one that shoots Kong is Peter Jackson.
Yep, and he had Bob Burns as well, and his wife in the
Yes,
like one of the scenes.
children. Yeah,
and his children.
His children were in the street or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But that's why the hell not?
Well, I know, it's like bring the whole family together. That's how we do it over here in New Zealand.
Yeah, and even the production crew paid their own. The ones that weren't going, to New York for the premiere, paid their own ticket and went.
Wow.
It's just that sort of family vibe, and you can't not get behind that.
No, exactly. You support it to the end, eh? Yeah, it's a journey for them. It must be so amazing to work with him. Anyway.
Not if you like sleep, apparently.
Pardon?
Not if you like sleep, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're somebody that has to be dialed in, I think, or you wouldn't last. And that's everybody, has to be dialed in and involved and prepared that you're not doing an 8-hour day, 5 days a week. You're on the project
24/7.
Yeah,
yep.
And I think again I have to be in that mindset to work with someone like Peter Jackson, which I have no problem with. If you're invested and the idea of being part of something,
yeah,
why wouldn't you? Just be a pleasure. I think
it absolutely would be an honor, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, because when you're dedicated to something, and if you feel like you're empowered and you're part of something, you will work extra. Problem is now it's just there's none of that. There's none of that feeling. There's none of that excitement. There's none of that get behind the team. There's none of the joy in movie making now. It's gone.
No, it's gone. It's gone. Actors can't be bothered acting. Directors can't be bothered directing. Editors can't be bothered editing properly. There's no bloody writers anywhere. It's just like, what are you doing? There'll be no more reviews to do because there'll be no more movies if they keep this up.
Well, to be honest, there's more than enough movies that I couldn't watch in about 10 lifetimes.
Right.
Every time I have a conversation with somebody, they go, have you seen? And I go, no. And I have lost count of the number of movies I have watched over the years.
You must have watched millions.
I've lost count of the number of movies. And yet every time, oh, have you seen such and such? And I go, no. I'm going to have to look that back up. And there's more than enough. So if movie making stopped right now, today, this very minute, there's more than enough to go back for and actually be happier about watching. And maybe things have got slipped through the cracks.
Yes, that's so true. Absolutely. There are a few that have slipped through the cracks there, I've found, and I'm like, how did I not see this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one I'm doing tomorrow night, Martin, and I didn't realize that Georgia R. Romero. And I'm like, because it popped up on a special edition was coming out, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to check this out. God, if I missed it, I realized I had watched it. I just forgotten.
Oh.
You know what I mean? 10 minutes in the movie, I'm like, I have seen this. How have I forgotten about this movie?
Jeez,
no. If I stop movie making right now, we're not lost, do we? We just go back in time and we're sorted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I could legitimately do a video every day on this stream and still not run out of material if I wanted to go along that road.
Absolutely. There's millions of movies out there, eh?
Yeah. God, by the way, I had taken notes, but kind of But that's when we know we're having fun, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking about like Denham's character, Jack Black's character. He rips off the studio. They were going to just sell off his film for stock footage to try and get some money back. So he nicks it, and there's just high-speed chase and the whole thing of getting the ship to leave early, and it kind of shows promise them money you don't have, etc.
Yeah.
There's people like that today, and it's just they'll always be con artists, but It
or
sets it up, but the bit that really made me laugh was the fact that there was a Morse code message saying there's an arrest warrant.
yeah, I didn't get that.
How does that work?
Whether or not that's true, I don't know. Or was that a Peter Jackson sort of make it up as he goes along sort of thing? I'm not sure. That was a weird one.
Yeah, I don't really know how arrest warrants and stuff work, but you'd imagine once you hit international water, you can't really
do anything about it.
do anything. Like once across, that's the whole thing. Once you cross that boundary line,
yeah,
job's done. But
I don't think they had coast guards back then either. So, the Coast Guard police to go out and
but could you have got it? It's not like they had. Well, they did have radios, but could you have summoned the Coast Guard that quickly, interdepartmental, to stop someone? It was an interesting plot point that was brought up, and it's weird things like that make me think. But then again, it's Peter Jackson. He's thought about this. He hasn't just thrown that in there. So I would argue he knows more than I do.
Yep, that's what I thought. When I saw that as well, I was like, oh, I could look that up. But then I know Peter Jackson wouldn't lie about something like that. He'd make sure it was authentic to a little bit of a degree. He might have made a little bit of it up, but yeah, I don't know. I
think it was just where it arrived in the thing that they were so far out. Like they were in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, they had gone quite far by
then.
Yeah,
how does that work? I think it was just that if they had happened sooner where he could have turned back, yes, I would see the Morse code message coming through, but just that, like I said, it's
it's
you're right. The only bit that made me scratch my head a bit in terms of it was logic.
National waters, so it was like, oh well, okay, it didn't throw me, but because I knew why it was there, the intention was that there's an arrest warrant out for and the captain had to make a decision to turn around and go back, but by then it was too late and they got lost, and then it
was the act of change in course that actually took them to Skull Island, where they would have missed it.
Yeah,
I get the plot device. But it's the only time in this entire movie, and this is about a huge giant gorilla and T-Rexes and all sorts of stuff. But the only bit I question things, it's very strange, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, hey, he's allowed to do things like that, so he can't be too perfect.
No. Well, in the end, it's the old tree for the woods sort of thing. Can't see the wood for the trees because you're deep in this, and then
Well, Morse code was a thing back then.
Oh yeah, no, just the why the message came in at that particular point and how it works. Just had me scratching my head. That's my only, like I said, my only logic point that I had a problem with.
Yeah, now you're pointing it out. It is a bit of a anomaly. Well, it worked.
But it serves a point. You can kind of, if that's the only thing I'm going to question, really, then I can live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
The bit where this does feel long, though, is actually on Skull Island itself, to me.
Which part?
Just the whole thing? The whole thing of Skull Island seems to be very drawn out.
Yeah. In some places, I would agree with you, definitely. But I also think that, they all had a place. It all had a place. It all had something, there was an intention behind everything. Yeah, there were some really good scenes in there, though. Oh gosh, I don't really agree with you there. I think they needed everything that happened as a reason. I mean, it was just so well done. It was just, from them, even the nearly crashing the ship into the rocks. I mean, it was a real tension building experience. I was on the edge of my seat. I think
up that, but it's more the second rescue part, or the Brontosaurus scene, for example. I think went on a bit too long. That's kind of where I have coming in, seeing the island itself was amazing. The ship, the fact the captain wouldn't stop
Yeah.
And everyone's saying
Yep.
no. Meeting the tribes people, all that
Yep.
tense. But I think it's just me. That bit with the brontosaurus went on a bit too long. I think the T-Rex thing went on a bit too long.
Those are the bits that I think he was just flexing his muscles at how great he is at doing creatures. So I mean, I think the scene that I really, really think needed to be culled a little bit was with the wetters and the worms when they all fell down into that little crevice. I think that could have been shortened. Because it just I think that took away from, because there's two journeys going on. There's the journey with them trying to find Anne, and then there's the journey going on with Anne trying to find them. I think she wants to leave King Kong, but she doesn't want to leave him either because she doesn't know where to go or whatever. So the two journeys running parallel together, I think they went really well. But then, like you said, I think even the scene with the dinosaurs, I think that could have been culled a lot, because that whole scene was quite drawn out. That when they first see the dinosaurs, and then the dinosaurs come running after them, and they're all falling over the cliff and all that sort of thing.
The cliff scene really, like, I got the bit in the canyon, and I get if they all got into crevices and the thing stampeded on, I get it. But the cliff scene got me. I'm like, it was a bit overindulgent.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, I think that's when he took liberties, and he's just like, well, I know how to do this, so I'm going to put more dinosaurs in, and I'm going to put these in here and that in there, and big giant wetters. And well, if you're scared of insects, you won't want to watch this movie. And if you're scared of heights, you definitely won't want to watch the rest of the movie either. So yeah. Oh yeah. No, like I said, I think he just took full advantage.
Yeah, that's where I think the impression is a bit of an indulgent piece as opposed to his normal filmmaking style. Now, Chris and I have been obviously going through the Tremors series of movies, and we saw the tonal shift when Universal got involved and like 100% took over the reins.
Really?
Universal are not the best company out there. They seem to be very dogmatic and is very corporatized, which is strange because they've made some quality cinema over the years. But like in this current era,
it's the competition, eh? I think that's what's doing it.
I don't know. There's just seems to be that mindset. It's like if you have somebody. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that rubs off in the direction as well. Like for the directors, that would rub off. Because, I mean, Universal's has come and approached you. Would you make a movie? We're going to give you this much money, and I think Peter Jackson's like, well, I want to make a 3-hour movie then because it's Universal Pictures, so he made a 3-hour movie because Universal Pictures isn't going to pay out that money for an hour and a half movie, are they? Mm-hmm. So he's just packed everything in he can and produced this, I think, basically, because there was a lot of special effects, a lot of
massively
prop. Yeah, you could see that.
And once again, there's no one thing you can say about this movie. It looks brilliant, like from start to finish.
Yeah,
but it's just like that. The particular scene in the ledge with the brontosaurus, I don't think needed to happen. That just went a wee bit too much,
and it looked a little bit fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, I mean, how can a creature like that not fall off the cliff?
Yeah. It was a bit...
It can't turn its body. It doesn't have the aerodynamic, the agility to turn its body and run, you know what I mean? So those are little bits like that. It's definitely what I see. Peter Jackson's just pushed himself.
Just a wee bit. And the thing with the T-Rex, because it was eating, so animals, if they're eating, they've got food, they're not going to chase more food while they're eating. The brains... It's not a food response thing. They're eating what's in front of them. The fact that it was still chasing them while eating this thing and it was taking ages, for it to swallow the Gala monster thing.
Yep.
I just thought it was a bit, oh, come on.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, there's just bits like that. It just goes on a
that was
bit
actually the
too
scene
long.
I had to turn away from that scene. I can't stand watching that. Him ripping his
ripping the
mouth
jaws open.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I can't watch things like that. But it was pretty graphic. It was pretty graphic. But yeah, that was drawn out. It was drawn out. Yep. Of course, because he wanted to show King Kong's power and his strength to be able to take on 3 pterodactyls, T-Rexes, I mean. 3 T-Rexes.
Yeah, like I said, that fight scene itself, it was the lead up, I think. If you think about that whole scene, is Anne getting chased, and this thing's eating the Gila monster, and it's just eating and eating and eating. You're like, come on. That's where I was. But so then you've already got that in your head. It's all part of the same scene, if that makes sense, before Colin jumps in. I think you had to maybe reduce that bit, then the actual fight scene, Sarah just getting chased, would have been more intense.
Yep.
Even the scene on the cliff top where Anne starts using her stage act, which we saw earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Even that went on a wee bit too long. Like, we got the joke.
Yep, it did. We got the joke. Yep.
And then the 5th or 6th time she got knocked over, it's like, not funny anymore. You know, it's like, so that's where it kind of went with my initial, maybe he should have been reined in a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. He could have tightened it. He could have made it a 2.5-hour movie, really.
What was that taken out? That was taken out, what, 40 seconds? We're talking about 40 seconds of a scene.
Yeah.
We're not talking about shave off an hour of the movie. We're talking about like 30, 40 seconds here, 30, 40 seconds there. That's what I'm saying, because I still enjoyed myself. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoyed watching this movie, and I didn't think I was going to, because it's just been that long since I watched it, and I wasn't too sure.
Yeah. I was looking forward to watching it, and then I started watching it, and then I was like, oh God, I am actually getting a little bit bored. But maybe that's my attention span. But I was brought back once I got to Skull Island. That was the rest of it. Before then, I know why they did all that, but it was the Skull Island bit that brought me back into the movie. I think there was just too much build up in the New York scene at the beginning. To do with her losing her job and, you know, the thing closing down, and then Jack Black and blah, blah, blah. I know there's an intention behind it, but it was just having watched it 5 times or something, it was a bit of a drag. But once it got to Skull Island, it sort of, the pace picked up a bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, there's plenty to see. Yeah. Like I said, my complaints just those.
There's lots where they could have culled just a little bit, just to make it a bit more poignant, you know. So, but
which is funny because it's Peter Jackson's style. Peter Jackson is very efficient with his storytelling, so for him to indulge like this is not the norm.
No, so that's where I think Universal Pictures probably poked their little noses in and said, "Oh, we want at least 3 hours. You know, you've got to make a 2.5, 3-hour movie." And do whatever you want, kind of thing. But hey, could you make the dinosaurs nearly fall off the cliff, or could you make Anne seem more hilarious than she actually is? Or, you know, it came together really well by the end of it, definitely. But there's so much to unpack in this movie, eh? It's just a lot.
It's not a light watch, you know. It's not a 90-minute popcorn flick. You're dedicating some time.
Yeah. I'm glad I watched it again. I mean, I haven't watched it for about 4 years or something. I've forgotten how good it was.
Yeah, and there's quite a few like subplots within this as well. You know, obviously we've got Denham's story.
Yeah.
We've got Anne's story. We've got Kong's story. But we've also got like Park and Jimmy, you know, the whole father-son relationship.
Yes, Hayes and Jimmy. What a neat little relationship. And very sad when he dies. When he dies. Yeah. But they built all that up. I thought that was really quite sweet. Yeah. So there's a lot of relationship stuff going on in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but is that
Not so much love, but
no? But there's different types of relationship people have, and
yes.
like a mentor relation. Like I don't think people have mentor relationships anymore. I don't think it's really a prevalent thing,
Um,
which is odd, because that's how as societies are built. That's how we, as
yeah.
humans progress and get better. Always somebody who maybe has a bit more experience somewhere showing someone else the ropes, or you being shown the ropes when you're missing. I mean, that's how we all, the positive side of humanity, where we'll lift each other up and we'll try to be better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fallen away. I think more people are like inspired by other people, whereas I think now it's dog eat dog sort of world, and you don't give away trade secrets unless you're going to pay me for it.
Very jealous.
It is, isn't it? It is. It's gone that way, and it's really, really sad. I mean, I think of you as my mentor. I think of there's two other people. There's three mentors in my life, as far as I'm concerned, and you're one of them as well.
Oh, thanks very much. I just
Yeah, and no, you are. You've shown me so much stuff for me to just. You've really done a lot to help me, inspire me, push me to do things out of my comfort zone. But that's very, very hard to find people who are willing to do the things you do and the other two people. You've really got to be grateful for people who are going to go out of their way to tell you things that you don't know, but and there's people who won't tell you things, because they don't want you to do better than they are. And
which
it's
is
I
odd.
which
Because
which is
you've been a
odd.
massive supporter of this project since it started. Like
Yeah.
you've been here a couple of years now. It's not like you're just in 5 minutes. You've been like long term with this. If it
But I'm
wasn't for the
still
likes of
learning.
you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had the inspiration to go on. Because that's
Oh,
and you can sit and stare into one of them things, like into the
yeah.
void, and unless you're a complete narcissist, it's empty. It's the interaction. It's having somebody believe in what you do for a start. That's massive.
Yeah.
To keep you
It
going
is.
on. One of my mentors would be Adam on Evil Eye, because he showed me a lot of stuff, and even talking about some of the the algorithm nonsense, which
Yeah.
I scratch my head sometimes going, what the hell, trying to figure it out. And
Absolutely.
there's been people over the years, if they hadn't taken their time out to show me things, fella called Ian, like I'm talking near 30 years ago now, showed me how to program.
Wow.
Because I'd done something, and actually because I put work in, he was inspired, and then he sat me down and actually showed me how to do things. I wouldn't have even remotely had the path I went on.
That's
And there's
amazing.
people that, have an impact in your life. So I always keep that in the back of my head.
Yeah. It depends what sort of person you are, I suppose. Some people are grateful and some are ungrateful.
Some people are
Yeah.
just, but this culture of being self-centered, and that's not self. You can be selfish and still help others and have others help you. Selfishness isn't a toxic trait, but self-centeredness is, because
Absolutely.
when you just see yourself as an island, and you can only succeed by other people degrading. There's this weird, thing that
Yes.
if somebody has any modicum of success, that's somehow taken away from you, and it's very, very strange, because I don't get it.
It's
It's never a
weird.
part of my zeitgeist, if that makes sense.
Yep, me too. Yeah, absolutely hear you. Yeah.
And I think back to this movie, you get that sense.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think you can't put that much material out and it be faked.
No, no. And you have to work together. I mean, like again, it's people coming to the bottom of the world here to make a movie with Peter Jackson, I mean, that's a huge commitment for an actor to come to the bottom of the world to do that. So he must be doing something right to keep getting these people to come over to do these movies.
But even
I
that,
mean,
think of Weta Workshops, think of Wingnut Films.
yeah.
There's people still with him from Bad Taste.
Since the 80s, yeah, late 80s, yes. Bad taste.
So
That's right.
when you're with someone that long, there's got to be a reason for it. Like when you're building stuff on a shoestring budget and using hot glue and stuff just to try and make a thing happen,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you've still got that same mentality. It's not like, oh, we've got millions of a budget, we can just buy all at best. No, they're cutting out the styrofoam themselves. They're chipping away at it. They're painting it themselves. They're getting they're going to garden centers. They're talking about a thing where they're actually the miniature team, because they're the whole. I mean, it's in each of the teams now, and the miniature team's like, you just can't walk past the park going, that bit of log would be perfect. That plant would be perfect. That would be, that's their mindset when they're in the zone.
And right at that time, actually, there was the California Garden Centre right next door to Weta Workshops, which they actually bought out. They bought it after that. So, yeah, I think that's the garden centre he's talking about, the one right next door to him.
Yeah, because they're in going, oh, look, here's the big fern, here's the small fern for the smaller model and stuff. They're just like,
oh, wow.
Every day. They're just, you can't buy that.
No, you can't. I mean,
you
God, Richard Taylor's been with him forever. He wouldn't have stuck around if Peter Jackson wasn't the person he is, and his team and his woman, Fran.
Yeah, but that's, even better having a life partner that gets you. That is so hard today. Because there's so many people in the relationship with this weird thing of jealousy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it's horrible. Oh, I can't see you doing well because it makes me look bad. And there's this whole idea of being a team anymore. And it's that's why everyone's miserable and always lashing out, because they don't get it. Got a question there from Chris. Having a greater appreciation for Peter Jackson now, what franchise that you enjoy would you like to see him tackle next?
Ooh.
In this current climate, I don't think I'd want to. He had offered to help out with that certain TV show, whose name we will not utter here.
TV. Yeah.
And they basically told him to do one.
Do one.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need you. We're so much better than that.
Yeah, well, they soon learnt the consequences of that, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, we don't need Peter Jackson. You're right.
Yeah, what does he know? Yeah, this is our train set now.
Oh my God, that's just ridiculous.
I'm glad he didn't in the end, because something like that would... I don't know if he could be attached to anything now and it not be destroyed.
Yeah.
And his reputation be tarnished.
Yeah. That's definitely, yeah. No, I can't see him. I can't think of anything that I could possibly think of him directing, really, because he's got his own flavour. He's not... Yeah, I just don't know, and I don't know how authentic it would be, and good question, though, Chris.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. That is the problem today, because you just can't. You don't want anybody decent or who you respect to get involved with filmmaking today, because I don't want to see anything remade today or brought to screen, because it's horrible. Just with the sort of people that are involved, and even if you went in with the best intentions, the structure's all there with these horrible people who hate everything across their desk. It's a, like I said, it's a jealousy thing. They can't create, they can only destroy.
Yeah.
Tolkien's description of evil is perfect in this. Evil cannot create, it can only mimic and destroy.
Yeah.
That's what we've got right now. And yeah, I really don't want to see anything get remade. I'm bored with remakes anyway. And adaptations.
Yeah, right. God.
But with this one, though, and like I said about the tonal shame, Lord of the Rings, for example, it had all these different story elements.
Yeah.
Look at Dead Alive. It had all these different story elements going at a fast pace, but they all worked in tandem and came together. This doesn't seem to have the same feeling of that.
No.
We pause for the love story. We pause for Denham's story. We pause for Park and Jimmy's story. We pause. It's like every time a characterization comes in, the movie pauses a bit to go into that scene where
Yep.
normally his storytelling is they will hurtle along at the same time and it'll be interconnected and you won't even realize you're picking up three storylines till afterwards.
Yes, they segue in really amazingly, don't they? And this one is sort of there was a lot of jutting, there was a lot of jarring, there was a lot of from one scene to another. It wasn't segued in very well. I'd have to admit it was you're taking from one scene to another scene to another scene. Yeah, I really do think, I don't know if I should say this, but I really do think Universal Pictures probably interfered because it's not what we know of Peter Jackson's direction. You know, he's not like that. So.
And I'd say us two are pretty qualified at this point to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't go through, God, how many movies now? 10 movies or something at this point in depth.
Exactly. Yeah, so we can see exactly the changes that are being made that he probably just has to go along with, and that sort of sucks. But
at the same time, I'll go back to Frighteners again. I'm glad that movie happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think he found out what it's like when he has no control.
Yep. No control.
And no say in how things go. I think that I'm glad that movie happened before Lord of the Rings, because if it hadn't have, we wouldn't even be doing this series, you know.
No. Exactly. And the big mistake could have happened in Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yeah. But so we've gone from that to him going and doing whatever he wanted in Lord of the Rings, but being contained, obviously, to this one, which you could tell it was a Hollywood lemon interference completely the whole way through it.
But there's still a level of integrity through it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the thing. Absolutely. It wasn't 100%. Like, it wasn't Frighteners' version of King Kong. It wasn't this like dumb spectacle. It was actually Peter Jackson's still in there, and quite a lot of his flavor and a lot of the flavor of his team throughout this. Which, if it wasn't there, this would not. You know, I mean, it would have been a 3-hour snore fest.
Yeah. Which it wasn't. Oh my God, thank goodness, you know, because that had the potential to go that way. It could quite possibly have gone that way. But I think when it came to the casting as well, I think he did a really good job of picking the people. He was actually, Anne was going to be Kate Blanchett, the one that was all. Yeah, so I'm glad she didn't get it. I'm glad Naomi Watts got it because she's so cool.
I thought she
Oh, yeah,
I thought she exemplified the role. Like, she was Anne, and actually, she brought this innocence and desperation about her, which was like.
She did.
I like that first part of the story. You know, you're sort of going, why are we taking so long here? But then you really got to understand the characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing I need to look up. Actually, I could have sworn I'd seen Danny DeVito in one of the dairies doing something in the background, like speaking over something.
Can I see Harvey Weinstein in the audience?
I would imagine you would.
Danny DeVito? I wouldn't be surprised.
He was in the Oh, right. He's observing the scene being processed. So he wasn't in the movie, but he actually went to New Zealand.
He came over to watch the process of the movie.
Yeah, he was in the background. It was one of those, like, he's just in the room, and while they're doing some work with the scene, he's there talking with some of the guys, just as is.
Oh, so he wasn't in the movie. He was in the diary entries.
Yeah.
Yep, and that. Oh,
how does that happen? That's such a, you know, there's no benefit for him to be there, if that makes sense. You know, when you think a Hollywood type person.
No, and he hasn't done any movies with Danny DeVito. So it's just not like he's come over to see how good he's going to be with his movie that, you know, but he was, wow, jeepers.
Yeah, that made me scratch my head a bit. Yeah, just double check. Yeah, he was just, he just obviously. It just kind of shows that I still don't see Peter Jackson's Hollywood, thankfully.
No.
But he's definitely
not.
got the respect of a lot of them, the same as someone that, you know, he's made friendships there.
Yeah.
And people are prepared to go and just...
You can see his networking going on, eh?
Oh, yeah, massive. And despite what happened with Harvey Weinstein, he was still he was a powerhouse player.
Yeah,
in the day,
absolutely.
you know. So you can't not, you know, you can't turn back time. It is what it is. In fact, it's a good part of, you know, it's good to learn from history, funnily enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And all publicity is good publicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
No, but I think it's a little undertone of Peter Jackson's, the respect he has gained from a lot of people, that if he's doing a project, people get excited.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like obviously, well, a couple more movies ago before the end of this particular series, but even with that aside, you know, there's still, if Peter Jackson was to appear, you know, oh, he's working on something, we'd all be interested, going, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, especially older school, maybe not so much the newer ones in Hollywood, but definitely older school Hollywood, are like, oh, I just got to go and see what he's up to.
Yeah.
Because if you're interested in filmmaking, the art form of filmmaking, why would you not want to go and be involved or even go to see some of the aspects of Peter Jackson making something?
Yep. And he'd welcome anyone like that with open arms, you know. The more he can...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
He was answering questions from fans. His video segments, so one of the video segments is like every so often, it's like, okay, people have emailed in questions, let me, blah, 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 blah. You know, don't see that today.
No, not unless it's a big vlog with questions and answers, and oh my goodness, a live stream, and oh yeah, right, wow, God, there's a lot of questions I'd love to ask him.
God, where would you even? I'm not even a filmmaker, but bloody hell, where would you end? You know, like, how would you run out of questions?
Yeah, I know, right? Wow.
I think the third act of this is really tight. Like, the first act was necessary, I think, for the story, for the sort of grand scale of the story.
Yeah.
A bit long. The second act, like I said, I enjoyed, but some parts just went on a wee bit too long. But the third act is pure Peter Jackson.
Oh, absolutely.
When they go back to New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. The whole thing, that whole New York scene, you know, when we see Denham being all blimmin' smug and I've got King Kong and, you know, I've won the grand prize and blah, 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 blah. That was such a great setup. That was just, you know, bring him into an audience. Oh, what the hell did you think was going to happen? Oh, my God. Oh,
just the hubris of the day as well, that, you know, nobody cared, you know, just, yeah.
No, but the oohs and the ahs from the audience, it was just great. It really did set the scene, eh? It's just, yeah, very authentic.
Yeah, but also we'll see him like smoozing with the same people who were prepared to have him arrested. You know, once the money was made, it didn't matter.
No, exactly. Greedy.
And he hasn't learned a thing.
Hasn't learned nothing. No, not right up to the very end.
Even the fact people died.
Yep.
They're just pieces for him to play with, you know, and that sort of attitude is just complete Like a disgusting person, let's be honest.
So is that what Peter Jackson thinks of filmmaking, or was
No,
that
just
part
that type of
of the
person.
story? Yeah.
Because
Is
the
that
original 1933 is the same storyline. That's that same thing of what are you
it
prepared
is
to do? You know,
to make
steal
a movie? Mm,
steal from the natural world. Take the sort of I mean, this has been done again, like Jurassic Park, the second one.
yes. Yes,
Um,
yes.
Also, this scene, New York, I can't help but think back to American Werewolf in London.
Right.
One of the grittiest scenes is actually the Trafalgar Square scene
Yes.
where the cars are smashed. I mean, all the gory scenes don't actually involve the werewolf.
Right.
It's the
It's this.
chaos.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And that's kind of exactly what's happened in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The chaos and the screaming and oh God. Yeah. Oh, makes me think about something.
Yeah, but it's just that whole thing of this should not have, first of all, this should not have happened, as in that universe. Kong should not have been brought from his island.
No, no.
Um,
That was so bad. They
Plus, there was
oh,
plenty. If they wanted to trap animals, there was plenty there. Wonders, if that makes sense.
yeah, the one thing that I was a little bit lost on was why the hell did they have so much chlorophyll in the ship? Why?
Well,
Why, if they didn't know they were going to go and get Kong,
but there were
why?
animal trappers. That was their whole. They're the ones who went out and took animals for the zoo.
But there was enough chloroform there to kill a whole bloody entire continent. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Why? That's. I'd like to ask you that, Peter Jackson. Why did you have so much chloroform? I mean, obviously it was to overblow everything and make
Yeah,
everything dramatic.
I only took
But
3 bottles.
yeah, wow, there you go.
In the
You
actual
know,
scene when they take Kong down, it was only 3 bottles.
I
Wasn't it?
know.
They smash one on the ground, smash the second one, and then Denim throws it in his face.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 bottles.
yeah. I would have thought it would have taken 10 bottles to get
Yeah.
that sucked down. You know what I mean? I mean, there was enough chloroform on there to.
And nobody wearing face coverings.
No, no, of course not. I mean, they all would have passed out
Yeah,
for
everyone would have
crying out.
been, yeah, they would have caught Kong, but themselves as well. They'd all be like, doof.
And the wind's blowing it into everybody's faces, up their noses, So there were a little bits of that. I reckon I'm going to blame Universal Pictures for those sorts of things.
Yeah, we'll do that. Because they wouldn't
Yeah,
be far wrong, because
yeah.
um,
Peter Jackson does not put something in there that's not supposed to be in there.
yeah.
He probably only put in a crate of chloroform, and Universal Pictures has gone, no, we want an entire cell full of them.
Yeah, for dramatism. You're like,
But yeah, that's right. There was a lot of over dramatization of even Anne's character, with a distant look out into the ocean, and it's sort of, those. It was very overwrought, some of the acting, but it also made me reminded me of Forgotten Silver with what's her name?
oh, the one that played Salome?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
There was a lot of that sort of
But that was the
going on.
style. That was the style of the day.
It was, which was very, very yeah, very, very authentic. It was very authentic, but yeah, no, she did a great part. Yeah,
And that's the one thing as well with these actors. That's one thing Peter Jackson does very well is they become the characters.
oh yeah,
A lot of these actors but don't really, Jack Black only acts like Jack Black,
yeah,
and everything
that's
else he's
right.
done. He's the only real big name I can think of in that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't he? He's the only real big name in that whole cast.
oh yeah,
Everyone else
without a
you
doubt.
kind of know, but they're not. They're not A-listers. They're not superstars. Jack
No,
Black's the biggest name, yet Jackson, I think, got the best performance out of him he's ever done.
That's what I mean. He definitely did, without a doubt. I mean, he was reined in. You could tell he was reined in, because we've seen how Jack Black is with in other movies is completely different than what he acted in, and this one was probably his most serious one. Even though there was a lot of one-liners, obviously.
Do you think you know why Jackson does like 200 takes if he needs to? Do you think he just ground him down the first day and went, okay, do it again, 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 and just ground him down till he behaved himself?
Yeah, funny.
I can't find that bloody. I wanted to share that one with you, Ian McKellen and Christopher Lee. I still can't. It popped up about 4 times before we did Lord of the Rings, and I can't find it again. It disappeared. Where Ian McKellen was like actually nervous. Then I'm not getting this right. And Christopher Lee said to him, oh, well, it's okay. I did 190 takes yesterday. Don't worry about it. It's, I'm just wondering if that's what he did. Was that a bit like water torture? To get Jack Black to reprogram?
Breaking a horse. Is that how
broke a stallion in.
He broke Jack Black. See, Jack Black has a serious side somewhere that only Peter Jackson could bring out.
And that once again just shows the talent. But even when he's smooth, he's not going over the top. At that point in the New York scene afterwards, he could have really went over the top.
Yeah,
but he didn't. His performance was, on par.
Yeah.
I love the way the army did more damage in New York than Kong did.
Oh God, didn't they just far out?
Yeah,
it wasn't Kong messing the place up.
No, it was the rocket launchers and machine guns.
Yeah, Gatling guns, machine guns, far out. Planes blowing up planes. Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was an epic scene.
But it fitted. It wasn't over the top.
No, it wasn't over the top. No, there was some really nice slow. That scene when they're on the pond, on the lake, on the ice. I mean, it just breaks your heart.
Yeah, it was that moment of quiet of they're back in the island again, sort of thing. And then boom, reality comes crashing in.
Yeah, I cried 3 times yesterday.
But you're meant to. It is a tragic story.
It is,
and I'm glad he didn't cheapen it.
No, but God, when Kong just falls from the building, it's just like it rips a hole in the fabric of your existence. It's just like, no, it's going to happen, but when it happens, it's just like, no, don't do that, so mean. I mean, I said I'd never watch this movie again because every time I watch it, I cry, but it was worth watching it again. I could wait another 4 years to watch it again.
Yeah, that's what I said about the tonal difference, because we can stick anything else on like right now and not watch it to the end and not think twice. You could stick Lord of the Rings and binge and not even think you waste your time. This, you do feel a bit tired after it.
Yep, definitely. Oh, and the ending. That was the worst ending ever. It just ended. It was like there was no fanfare. There was no goodbye from. It just ended, and I've never seen him end a movie like that before. With just the death scene, and then that's it. It was just.
But you could picture that though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Because of the setup of the times. He did the whole setup of the society then. There would be just, okay, show's over. Oh, right, that's that then. And you could almost picture the people from the Knacker's Yard coming in their trucks to cut him up and take trophies. Like, what I mean? You could picture that happening like 5 minutes after the Denham's character walked away. I even forget his final line. I think it's the same line from the first one, like the original. But
yeah.
But it's just that whole of, oh, well, that's, that's that then, the disposable. But that's a message in itself, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I never actually thought of it like that. Because I guess it leaves us with a cliffhanger as to what's going to happen afterwards, and we don't really want to know what's going to happen afterwards, do we?
No, it's
No.
well. Look what
Yeah.
look what people back in the day have done to real grills.
What's that?
You know, like you got the grill of hand ashtrays and all that were made. And,
Oh, right.
oh, they were sure.
No, no.
Yeah, just sure the ivory trade, for example.
Oh, of course. Right.
And
Yes.
today we still got the Chinese medicine trade.
Well, yeah. Exactly. That's a bit.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
this whole arrogant concept of man has dominion over all things, so therefore everything else is just property.
Yeah.
And this is where, obviously, like I said, I've got my own opinions about certain things where things are going right, and I've got my own opinions. I don't want to jump into that, but I think this is a good, like, even for the time, it's the same message in 1933 of this. Like, just because it's out there doesn't mean we'll have to stick it in cages and bring it back, and it's not there to utilize. And also, it's bad animal husbandry, which you think with the Industrial Revolution, that was one of the things that learned, in farming.
Yep.
Maybe not so much America. America, I think, because for start, the best and brightest didn't go over there.
Right.
But also, there's this idea of coming from smaller continents to this huge plane of it would never run out. I think that's kind of the American mentality in the 20th century, 1920s. This is never going to run out. It's so vast because I can't see to the end of it.
Yeah, right.
And I think this is one of the first, like the original 1933 movie was the original warning of things are finite, or if you don't look after things, you'll overfarm, that whole thing of sustainable farming.
Yep, absolutely.
Although it's called that, the concept was always there. But for some reason, the people, like particularly Americans, lost that concept.
Yeah.
Just hunt. Just it's there. It's for me. And take, and wastefulness.
Yeah. They're huge consumers. Definitely of anything they can put their little mitts on.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the better ways to sort of warn people about. Is it really a good idea?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Good thinking. Yeah. I didn't go there. That's a good, yeah, absolutely.
And he does enough of the subtext.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. Without a doubt, he does. But, yeah, it's good to know that he stayed on form with the other two versions, so he didn't go nuts, lose sight of the original, because it was a story originally, wasn't it? King Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm glad, even though, like I said, that middle act could have just done a wee bit of tightening.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole movie in itself, Skull Island, trying to... what was that made in the Adventure series? I can't remember. It's all part of the Monster Universe anyway, but, Skull Island's its own story.
Skull Island, yeah, yes. I've seen it come up in lots of different things. Skull Island, yeah. Oh.
There you go. Any sort of final thoughts on the whole movie? I think we've pretty much covered it.
It's not really one, say, like Lord of the Rings that you would watch every couple of years sort of thing. Unfortunately, that's my take on it, is I probably won't watch it again now for another 5 years or something, and I would hope that it wouldn't have dated, because at the moment I don't think it's dated. I think it's okay. It's still maintained semblance or integrity, and yeah.
Do you think because it was a period piece?
Yeah.
Do you think that helped?
So. Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you think so? Yeah. It's definitely like I'm glad he did it after Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings was just epic. The whole trilogy was epic, and then he went on to do another epic film, and then the next one we get to see is going to be completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely different.
Looking forward to that one. That's another adaptation as well.
Yes.
He had originally wanted to do this in 1995.
Yes, I heard
And there were
that.
initial discussions in 1997 about doing it, but then that's when the whole
Lord of-
Lord of the Rings thing happened. He's like, nope, sorry, can't think of anything else now except this.
Yeah. Oh, and I think also at that time, when they first started negotiating, Godzilla was coming out, and there were some other Universal monsters.
God, that
Remember?
we mentioned
Um,
that 90s abomination
oh,
of a movie.
I
Oh, dear.
I watched a whole one. I can't. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a Godzilla out there that's going to change my mind. So,
It's one of them. You either like or you don't like. You either like big monster movies or you don't. Do you like? When it's you don't have to.
well,
That's once again, you don't have to like them.
no, but see, that's the beauty of what Peter Jackson did with this movie is he's
Mhm.
got people on board to watch this movie who had never watched who had no interest in King Kong at all. That was just like the only reason people watched it was because Peter Jackson made it. And then we all fell in love with Kong. And then there's a whole generation of people now who, have got to witness this new Kong. And I don't know what the rest of them are like that they've made since then. But I'd be interested to see if Weta Workshops had anything to do with the 2023 version. I should have a look. I'll have a look. I doubt it.
No, that was Godzilla versus Kong. No, that was a completely different.
Oh,
No,
was it?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, no, that's boring.
Not at all. Right.
Ah, that's once again. I think I watched it the first time. I went, huh, and then I tried to watch it again, and I just switched
Oh,
off after 10 minutes.
yeah. Yeah.
For example, I would put, I would definitely put this one on. I suppose that 90s Godzilla movie. I've never put that on again.
Yeah.
If it was a choice between this and the current Kong versus Godzilla movie, I'd put this on.
Yeah. That's
Because
it.
that's it. I'll watch this through to the end. If I stick this on, I'm watching it through to the end.
Yeah.
Where if I stick the other one on, that's it. It's I'm bored.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Gosh. Oh, I've started reading The Hobbit, and I've passed chapter 2, so
oh,
I'm
cool.
doing really well. I'm actually enjoying it. Really enjoying it.
That'll actually be useful because it's such a short book. Because
Yeah.
they're coming. That trilogies are coming.
Yes. So I thought, well, hey, I'm going to sit down and read this just for the trilogy, just to see. So there.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to work my way through this again.
Oh gosh, brilliant, isn't it? Oh, Children of Dune.
Yeah, Children of June. Yeah.
Right.
I'm I need to get stuck in. I've only got that far.
Far out.
Because that review will be coming up soon
Yeah, but
on
it must
Adam's
be.
channel.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is too. That's the second one, isn't it?
That's the third one.
Third one.
Yeah.
Was that not more that?
June.
Yeah.
June Messiah, and then Children of June.
And then Children of June. That's right. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So obviously,
Awesome.
don't do it in this channel. Do it in somebody else's channel when it's like sci-fi. It's like.
Oh right. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our buddy Adam. We've been doing a review series. We looked at the movie, the Villeneuve one, part one. Then we looked
Yeah.
at it compared to the book, and then we looked at June Messiah. So we're going to look at this at
Yep.
some point,
Oh,
and then we'll review part 2 when it comes out. But here, that's why you make friends with other people that cover other genres, because then that way we can all like jump on and do different things.
Yeah, exactly. That makes it all much more fun, doesn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Variety is a spice of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Del, as always, it's fantastic to go through this. This is just I think more for the director, more for Peter Jackson, and going through these movies and seeing how they tied in. And there's still the horror elements in this movie. Like, we didn't really go into that, but if you can't say there's not horror in this movie.
Oh, it's horror. Yep.
Yep. Without a doubt. But yeah, next time we will be doing The Lovely Bones, which I'm really looking forward to, because I remember both enjoying the book and the movie.
Yep.
So Yeah, that's a completely different story.
Oh yeah, it is. Looking forward to it. I'll read the book again too before I watch it again.
Who was the author again?
Oh, I don't
Is somebody Alice Sebold?
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
I was just going to get the book. I've actually got 2 copies for some reason.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
we'll be
So
doing that next, and that'll be really enjoyable. Really enjoyed that
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. But there you go. As always, fantastic to do this, and we'll be back. So just leaves me to say, keep up to date with the channel, do the typey clicky things, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.